Take refuge in the transcendental truths of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Continuing to with Sesshin, Platfrom Sutra. Good friends, our teaching takes meditation or samadhi and prajna or wisdom as its fundamental truth. Everyone, do not say in your delusion that samadhi and prajna, wisdom and meditation are different. Meditation and wisdom are of one essence, not different. Meditation is the essence of wisdom, and wisdom is the function of meditation. The times of wisdom, meditation exists in that wisdom, and at the times of meditation, wisdom exists in that meditation. Good friends, how is it that samadhi and wisdom are equivalent? It's like the light of a lamp. When the lamp exists, there is light. When there is no lamp, there is darkness. The lamp is the essence of the light, and the light is the function of the lamp. Although the names are different, in essence, they are fundamentally identical. The Dharma of meditation and wisdom, samadhi and prajna, is just like this. Another way of saying this is the path and the fruit are one thing. Another way of saying meditation or samadhi is presence, wholehearted presence, alignment with the present, being in the present fully, in contact, in intimate relationship, in intimate oneness with what is. So let's begin with doing exactly that and feel your face. Feel the weight of your face. Notice the subtle tensions in your face around the eyes, the mouth, temple, forehead. Become aware of the sensation of temperature. Perhaps small breeze as it touches the face. Be intimately familiar with the sensations of your own face. Now note the mouth. Open or closed? You're breathing through it or not? Moist or dry? The nasal passages? Cool or warm? What's the temperature, sensation of moisture or dryness? Be aware of all of the sensations that tell you you have a face. Now, without losing the sensations of a face, feel the head. They come together. Feel the muscles in the scalp around the ears, back of the neck. Perhaps the hair. Perhaps the temperature. Feel, experience, be aware of the whole head. And note, as you breathe, does it move? Is there any slight motion to the head, the face, the eyes, the mouth, the nose, as you breathe? The inhalation or the exhalation, or both? Feel the neck. Be aware of the tension in the neck as it holds the head. Swallow and be aware of the movement in the throat, the tension and relaxation in the throat as you swallow, as the neck holds the head. Is there any pressure in the throat or space? As you breathe, be aware of the shoulders. On the inspiration or expiration, do the shoulders move? Do they tighten? Feel them as they adjust to the breath. Feel the weight of the shoulders, gravity pulling them. The tensions of the muscles. Is there more tension in one side or the other? Feel it. Be aware of the subtle differences in awareness and experience of the two sides of the shoulders. Now, as you take a deep breath, what part moves first? You inspire, what part moves first? And then second, and perhaps third. Is it all one movement, or does it break down? Feel the inspiration of the breath and the movement of the body as you inspire, and as you expire, they come together. The body moves in parts. Feel what is the first part of the breath, and then notice the ribs. At what point in the breath do the ribs change position? Do they go up or down, tighten or loosen, expand or contract? Simply notice the experience of the body being breathed. In the chest, is there a sensation or pressure inside the chest? Can you feel the heartbeat? Turn your mind into the interior sensation of your chest. Is there an experience there? Is there space there? What does it feel like inside of your own chest? And feel the movement of that chest as it's raised and lowered, expands and contracts. The sacred activity of breathing. Be aware of the abdomen. The abdomen moving as you breathe too. Notice in or out. Feel the weight of the whole torso and the abdomen. Does the belly feel light or full? Is there motion in the intestines and digestion? Or does it feel still? Simply notice. And become aware of the overall sensation of temperature in the upper part of the body. Notice, is that temperature the same on the face as it is in the belly, the chest? Simply notice. Become aware of the weight of the arms. They too have a subtle motion with the breath. The hands have more neural connections than most other parts of the body. You can feel more carefully with the hands. You can feel the sensation of dryness or moisture. Feel the tingling or stillness, or throbbing or pulsing. What is the experience to let you know you've got hands? Feel the thumbs. And the difference between the thumbs and the fingers. Feel the weight of the hands resting. The whole body rests on the pelvis. The head and the neck and the chest and the abdomen all rest on the pelvis. Feel the firmness of the pelvis. It sits on your cushion or chair, bench. The foundation of the body. Is there discomfort or comfort in it? Or tightness or relaxation? Simply note. Feel the weight of the body as it rests on the pelvis, as the pelvis rests on the seat. Bring your attention down through the legs, through the lower extremities. Thigh, knee. Simply be aware of what sensations tell you you've got a knee. Feel stretched in any way? Or comfortable? Or tight? Relaxed. The lower extremity and the feet. While you're feeling the feet, relax and be aware of the body breathing as you feel the feet. And be aware of the head resting on the body, breathing as you feel the feet. It's all one thing. The sensation of this one thing we call our body. It has different labels for different parts, but it's essentially one thing. Let your awareness rest in the one thing that is your body. Now notice you can hear sound. sound of his voice, perhaps other sounds. We feel the body and hear sound. We hear sound intimately in the body. The faint sounds are heard intimately in the body. The obvious sounds are heard intimately in the body. We feel with the body. The tympanic membrane and all of the nerves are in the body. The body is hearing. Feel the body hearing. The experiences come to us when we're aware. Each of our lives have led to this experience. Our whole life was required for us to feel the body being moved as it's breathed right now. It took the whole context of our life for us to be this body-mind right here, breathing, alive, present. This sacred experience of being in your own skin for you to feel and be in this position with this state of mind took the community you live in, took your successful and failed relationships, took your work, took the sidewalks and buildings of your life. And all of that, the whole wave of your life has come right here. Feel the body resting on the pelvis as you breathe, as it is breathed. This is exactly where we need to be, feeling exactly the life that we are living and being lived. The sacred art of feeling this life. Right now. The tingling, the weight, the quivering aliveness, the pulsing, the breathing. This is not an accident. This is a culmination of a whole lifetime. For us to experience this right here, right now, it took infinite number of small events and situations. It's an unimaginable miracle that all of the detritus of our life, all the flotsam and jetsam, all of the little bits and pieces, all the mistakes and failures, all of the food that we've eaten and all the mistakes we've made, all have culminated right here in this sacred experience of being breathed, of being alive. Samadhi is alignment with this. Meditation is oneness with this. This is the present. The sixth ancestor says that this presence, this alignment, this tingling aliveness right here is wisdom, is sacred, is grace. Regardless of whatever else may or may not be said, this touchstone is part of why we hold Sesshin. Now, it's curious when we are endowed with such a truth, such a blessing. Why do we at times feel so unhappy, dissatisfied, frustrated, afflicted, discomfort and unhappiness? When we do feel that way, when we do feel burdened, we always look for causes. We naturally want to correct them. It's a healthy, natural thing. We all do that. When we lose touch with the sacredness of this body being breathed, like we just were touching, or if we look out in the world, people who do not have that ability to introspect and to recognize what is fundamental, then we begin looking for the sources of our distress by blaming and criticizing and judging, pointing the finger. It's them, it's the environment, it's the government, it's somebody else who did it to me, who made me feel something I don't want to feel. And then we point the finger and say, you change, you be different. You be different so I don't have to feel my own life. You be different so I don't have to feel the sacred aliveness of my own life. You be different so I cannot feel the sacred aliveness of my own life, but feel something else, something that I think in my mind is better. Or if we're more sophisticated, we realize, oh, maybe this disaffection from our true nature has something to do with our own thinking and our own being. We begin blaming and criticizing ourselves. And we work with the inner critic and trying to find emotional healing. Or when we come to actual practice and we begin realizing that perhaps my attitude and my beliefs have something to do with my dissatisfaction, have something to do with my dissociation, have something to do. So right here, right now, we're calm. Objectively, quite safe. Well fed. And compared to most of the world, well rested. Clothed. In good company. Breathing magnificently fresh air of the springtime. I mean, breathe the air. So beautiful, so scintillating, so spark of coolness and moisture. Here we are in a heavenly realm, and yet we find ourselves being dissatisfied and unhappy. And one of the ways I think is most helpful to what happens is just the thought, it should be different. We're feeling our body breathing, we're feeling the air, and then the thought comes, it should be different. A little warmer. The body should feel not quite so heavy. My mind should be different, it should be calmer. People should be nicer. The birds, there should be more birds. You know? I don't know why there are so few birds around here. We need more birds. It should be different. And that sense of it should be different is kind of a fundamental crack in our life. And the Zazen and meditation is healing the crack in our life that comes from it should be different. It's not satisfying, it's dissatisfying, it's dis-easeful. The practice of Zazen right here, right now, is the practice of finding a place of deep appreciation, gratitude, and satisfaction for what is. For all the sensations that make up being a human. And as we know, in the human realm, things are hot and they're cold, and they're up and they're down, they're easy and they're hard. All the waves, the 16 waves of things coming and going. That's just the way it is. But when we're in a deluded mind, we want to try to cut off the top half of the wave and say, I only want the top half of the wave. I only want the good things that feel nice, that feel warm, that feel comfortable, that makes me feel safe, that makes me feel happy, makes me feel at ease. I don't want to feel the other half of the wave of being a human being. And then when we cut off the top half of the wave still has ups and downs, of course. It still has better and worse, still has pleasure and pain. And so we begin trying to get more refined and cut off the top quarter, and the top 8th, and the top 16th, and the top 32nd, and the top 64th. And before we know it, our life gets smaller and smaller and tighter, trying to find ourselves in a place where we only feel the good bits that agree with us, instead of being alive. And so people's lives become small and narrow. That's true in Sesshin, right here. What happens when you encounter something that we don't want to feel? My experience is often we start tightening up. We start pulling back, start stiffening, start saying, I don't want to feel that, and we become tighter. And then, of course, what happens when we become tighter? We have more pain. What happens when we have more pain? We become tighter. And then eventually we just, either we run away, or it melts, or we give up, or something, it cracks open. Zazen and being here in Sesshin is about the process of, can I really rest in and be willing to feel my life? My life is not just the little skin bag, but my whole life. Can I feel the tightness and the openness? Can I feel the warmth and the cold? Can I feel the sadness and the joy? Can I feel the whole range of being human in my life? And we're practicing that in Sesshin. As you all know, some periods are really difficult, and some periods are really joyful, and some periods are really blah, and some periods are really at great ease. And they just keep flowing through. They just flow through. They just flow through. When our mind lets them, they just flow through. And it is that flowing through that is the practice. That flowing through is the wisdom. It's not, I'll get into a good, bright, clear mind and then, voila, I've got it. It doesn't last. I hope that every person here touches a place of deep stillness, a place of deep joy, a place of deep connection, a place of deep magnificence. I hope you all touch that, and I guarantee it will last for a few seconds. And it will disappear, like all things do. When we touch something really fundamental, it changes us. It never lasts, but it changes us and opens our ability to appreciate. In life and in Sesshin, one of the things that blocks us from being able to really feel the scintillating aliveness of being a human being with all of the stuff that comes with that is we start thinking. And thinking is one of the great human miracles. Hallelujah. But when we're at the mercy of our thoughts and beliefs, when we're at the mercy of them, it's a great tragedy. So, as a little aside, why do we think our thoughts are telling us the truth? You just ask yourself that. Why do I think that having this random idea of, things could be different, things could be better, I could be a foot taller, I could be 30 pounds heavier or lighter, why do we think that is the truth? Why do we give credence to these random things that come in? We can't find the source, we can't find them, and yet somehow we have the idea of, this isn't good enough for me. And we believe it. Why? I'm inadequate. Random thought. Why? It's so strange. Here's we scare ourselves to death. We scare ourselves to death. We put ourselves in boxes. I was looking up cognitive errors. Here's the definition that DeepSeek gave, an AI program. Cognitive errors, also known as cognitive distortions, are irrational or biased ways of thinking that can contribute to negative emotions and maladaptive behaviors. These errors often occur automatically and can influence how we perceive and interpret events. Below is a list of generally recognized cognitive errors, and they list 20. All or nothing, overgeneralizations, filtering on negative details, disqualifying the positive, jumping to conclusions, reading minds, I know what you're thinking, fortune telling, catastrophizing, emotional reasoning, feeling that because we feel a particular emotion, it has certain means lots of things, should statements, labels, blaming, avoiding responsibility, fallacy of change, being right, control, abstraction, global labeling. This goes on and on. These are conditioned responses. Conditioned. Just like we were programmed. We were conditioned when we were young to our parents gave us their very best they could offer, and their best they could offer was full of conditioning. And so they passed their conditioning on to us, and we pass it on to other people. We have these irrational, and then we grab a hold of them, and we believe them, and we start acting on the conditioning. We think, for example, that if I blame, criticize, pressure other people, I'll make them change, so I won't have to feel what I'm feeling. It doesn't work that way. Or we generalize, the word always should never be used. Nothing is always. So easy in an argument to say, you always. That's never true. And never is always not true too. But we believe these random things that pop into our minds. We believe them based upon our history, based upon our conditioning, based on our programming. And Zazen is about, can we actually begin to put a crack in this facade? Can we put a crack in this shell? Can we put a crack in the cocoon that we have surrounded ourselves with based upon our opinions and thoughts, our beliefs? Now, if we are anxious, if we are afraid, it's because we have gotten caught by a certain pattern of thinking. It's all about the future. There's no anxiety without a future. The tingling aliveness of this moment, it's just tingling aliveness. It has no future. Thought also has no origin. If you were interested, you can look and watch it just pop out of nowhere. So we're doing Zazen, we're here in Sesshin, and the anchor is we're listening to sound. We're listening to sound, we're feeling the body without practicing, trying to see, can we experience it directly without the overlay of judgments, opinions, conclusions, labeling. We might hear a sound outside and the mind might say duck or, generator or whatever. And that's just the way what happens. But as soon as the mind starts saying, well, that means, there aren't enough ducks around here. We should be more ducks. We used to have a lot more ducks. Then the mind starts proliferating in its thoughts. We believe totally irrational things. And so there are a few ways that we can work with this. The first way that we work with it is we try to keep coming back over and over again, using concentration, using our particular practice, using the focus to come back to the isness of our experience. The isness of our experience. The tingling aliveness of being breathed. Or, as a kind of a one-sided view, being able to move through the monastery, through the meals, through the rest periods, through the kitchen, through all the work assignments, to move through them without without a lot of extra vociferation, without a lot of extra thought. To actually meet each thing cleanly and clearly, without the overlay of good, bad, indifferent, I like it, I dislike it, we should be doing it differently, we should do that, I should want to do this, I want to do that. So we're practicing. We're practicing for this moment, but we're also practicing for our whole life. How do I meet things as they are? And as they are is not necessarily how we think they are. So what do? thought management is the first basic practice is get into your body, be in the present moment. But thought, if we really don't understand how to work with thought, if we really are continually over and over again, which we all are, caught by thought, then we can just go around and around and around. We practice and practice and practice and practice. We have a deep experience in Sesshin. We find a place of calmness and clarity, and we go back out, and before we know it, we're caught back in exactly the same cycle. The same stuff keeps happening over and over again. It's because we have not yet really seen the nature of thought. And we have not yet looked at it directly, and we are continually caught by our beliefs. We can encounter something deep and still and wise and bright and alive and wonderful, but if we don't actually see through our fixed beliefs about it, then they take over again, over and over. We can have profound awakening experiences, have profound insights into the nature of things, which everybody here can do. And then, unless we change our relationship to our beliefs, it just gets covered back over with all of our conditioning. And before we know it, we're back in the same old place, doing the same old thing, wondering why didn't it work? Why didn't, I've been in so many weeks of retreat, I worked so hard, I've been to so much therapy. Why hasn't it worked? Why am I still the same mess that I was? And it has one place. I mean, there's different views of this. But in this particular case, we don't clearly understand the relationship between thought and belief. So thought is ephemeral. Changes all the time. We can think anything, as we've often said. We can think anything. Well, why do we think that the particular way I'm thinking right now is true, when I could easily just think the opposite? It's not hard. Think, yes, the glass looks half full, or yes, that glass looks half empty, or that person looks like they're really a failure, that person looks like they're really struggling really hard, that person looks like they're gaining wisdom, that person looks like they're a bodhisattva in the making. I mean, they're all just thoughts about, it's ephemeral. The second thing we can do is, whenever we find ourselves up against the wall, in Sesshin, we suspend belief. Maybe my conclusion here that I'm stuck. Maybe the conclusion here that I'm not doing so well. Maybe the conclusion here that I'm a mess. Maybe the conclusion here that I'm broken. Maybe that conclusion, I could just suspend that conclusion for a while. And perhaps even be open to other views. What else is true? What else is true? Any time that we feel we're stuck, I'm really lonely, I'm sick of this, what else is true? What else is true? What else is true? And the mind begins to open up instead of getting caught in our narrow, fearful place. Or we turn toward silence. At the root of all things is silence, stillness and space. And I hope everyone has an opportunity to begin to discover that for yourself right now. There is silence. Even in the midst of noise, there is silence. Even in the midst of movement, there is stillness. Even in the midst of all the the concatenation, the confusion, the hoi polloi of our humanness, there is space. Here we are in Sesshin, to step back from thought, to step back from belief, either seeing it as impermanent, seeing it as inadequate, seeing it as impartial or partial, seeing it as untrue, and coming back to rest in what is reliable. What is reliable? The ever-flowing nature of breath is reliable. And even if you have an asthma attack, you're still endeavoring to breathe. It's still reliable. As long as you're alive, it's reliable. Might be easy or hard sometimes. In the sutra it says, Samadhi and wisdom are of one essence, not different. Samadhi is oneness. Oneness with our breath, oneness with our body, oneness with our movement, oneness when we're washing the dishes, oneness when we're eating our meal, oneness when we're out working, oneness when we're walking outside, listening to the birds and smelling. Samadhi is oneness with our life. And that oneness that we're practicing right here is something we can apply everywhere we go. It's not about it's only good here, but it's a alignment with the circumstances, the body, the mind of our life. This alignment is wisdom, not different. Alignment, samadhi, is the essence of wisdom. Wisdom is the essence of that alignment. So when we are aligned, we're in the zendo, we're doing our best. It's inadequate, of course. The judgmental mind always finds it inadequate. Really. If it finds it, oh yes, you're doing really well right now, I guarantee you a few minutes later it'll say, nope, not doing so well anymore. It's the judgmental mind is always judging. So fundamentally, from that vantage point, we're always inadequate. Well, so what? Who cares? The judgmental mind. You know? From every criterion, we're both a magnificent success and a complete failure. That's just the way it is. Complete success, here it is, 500 million years of evolution have resulted in this. Whoa, what a glorious thing. And the inner critic comes in and says, well, you're not pink enough, you know, or whatever. So when we are aligned and we're engaged with the particular life that we have managed, the particular circumstances, and we do our best, and we do our best, and we do our best, our inadequate best, our incomplete best, we do our wholehearted best. We do the best now, and the best now, and the best now, and the best outcome comes. Very simple. We can't function in the future. So if we're in this particular meditation hall and we're breathing this particular breath and we're really endeavoring to be one with, to feel the breath, and that's what it means, being one with means, is feeling it, just like we did earlier. Feeling the breath, we're feeling it intimately. We're intimately engaged in whatever we're doing. And then from the intimate engagement of this, the next thing arises, the next thing arises, the next thing arises. Always spontaneously coming from this moment. So we're in the kitchen and we don't know how to cook and we're doing our best to wash dishes. And we wash dishes and we learn what it means to wash dishes, and we learn about that, and then we learn, oh, okay, I can also learn how to boil water, and I learn how to do that. And we put ourselves wholeheartedly, and the next thing comes along and we learn how to make tea or make porridge, and the next thing we keep doing the best we can do, and our life inevitably always evolves. We're never stuck. Never stuck. People come and they say, oh, I've got to make a commitment to go to college for 4 years. It's only 4 years and it will be over before you know it. 5 years or whatever. We're never stuck. It's always evolving. Something else is always coming along. Always. And so the alignment, the samadhi, the practices, can I be aligned with the ever-evolving life that I'm living? Starting right here in this room right now. Anchoring ourselves in what is always present. The flow of this life right now. Always present, always reliable, always worth anchoring in. To do this actually takes great trust. We somehow think that by planning, by figuring out, what the future is going to hold, we can somehow trust things more. But actually, if we place great trust in what the universe has given us right now, if we place great trust in this miracle that has arisen right now in my life. We place great trust that I can meet this, in meeting things, in the samadhi of meeting our life. Right there is the wisdom of awakening. Right there is the wisdom, the responsiveness that we all crave. So we're sitting here in this room, ostensibly in this sesshin, ostensibly separate from the world. We're never separate from the world. We're never separate from our lives. And we're practicing this complete engagement. Do the best inadequately difficult process of engaging with what is, being with what is, the samadhi of what is, the oneness of what is, the alignment with what is. And the cavilling mind is always, jumping around saying inadequate. Don't worry about it. It's irrelevant. It's wrong. It's just wrong. It's wrong. And actually seeing that the judgmental mind is wrong, that this is a magnificent, magnificent miracle, and it doesn't matter whether it has bells or whistles, it's a magnificent miracle that needs to be attended to, changes our relationship with ourselves, those around us, and our lives. Please have deep confidence. You are not a mistake, and there are no mistakes in your life. It's all a path of wisdom. It's all a path, every single thing is an opening into compassion and to wisdom. Every single thing is a miracle. And sometimes it's pretty hard. But so what? So what? It's still a miracle. So please, as we continue resting in the miracle of your life, use the anchor of practice that you have, breath, sound. Use the anchor that is right here, always flowing, always changing, right here. Use that anchor to open your mind, to open your heart, to become awake.